डॉक्टर बाबा साहेब आंबेडकर ओपन यूनिवर्सिटी।
Namaskar students, I am Dr. Himanshu Patel and I am working as an assistant professor in School of Computer Science of Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar Open University, Ahmedabad, and I am your instructor for this module. In today's session, we will learn what is persistent data or data that is permanent, what is SQLite database, how to create database in SQLite database. We will learn two classes. One is SQLite Open Helper class and another is SQLite database class. These two classes we will use to manage database. We will also learn what is shared preference and how can we create and use our own shared preferences. And finally, we will take one demonstration. So, the learning objective of this module is, after studying this module, learner should be able to define what is persistent data is. He or she can list different data storage options available in Android. They can make use of SQLite database. You will learn how to create database, how to insert, update, delete and retrieve data using SQLite database, and at the end we will learn about shared preferences. So, let us start with persistent data. Now, what is persistent data is? Persistent data is data which you want to be available even after you fully close and restart your app. If you switch off your phone and restart, the data in form of persistent data will be available even after that. Now, Android gives many options for you to save your application data as a persistent data. Now, on screen you can see various options that is available to store data persistently. The first is shared preference. Shared preference are used to store the data in key value pair. Generally, it is used to store user preferences. That is why it is known as a shared preferences. Now, what type of text color you want to use for your app, what background you want to use for your app, or let us say what theme you want to use for your app can be saved in form of shared preferences. Another most useful type of option is SQLite. SQLite is used to store private data for the app. Here the structured data is stored. That means we define a proper structure for data in form of table. Then we can also store data in form of file, which is known as a file storage. So, it is used to store raw file on memory card or SD card. Then we have content provider. We will learn more about content provider, but right now we can remember that content provider are used to store semi-structured data with user configurable data access. Another type of option available is cloud storage. Cloud storage, as its name suggests, used to store data on cloud space, which may be provided by some third party. So, we see there are many options available to store persistent data in Android. The option you choose depends on the specific needs, such as storage your data needs, type of data you need to store, and if you want the data to be private to your application or accessible to other any application or users. For example, generally app can use its own data only. It cannot use data stored by other app. So for that we require content provider. If we want to store huge amount of data, then we can store it on cloud. If we want to access data within app only, then we can use shared preference or SQLite database or maybe file storage. So it depends on the type of use. Now let us try to understand what is SQLite database is. SQLite is an open source SQL database that stores data to a text file on a device. It stores data in form of file, but you can access it like any other relational database. Android comes with built-in SQLite database implementation, and it is used to perform database operation on Android device such as storing, manipulating or retrieving persistent data from the database. Now these type of operations are generally called CRUD operations: create, retrieve, update and delete. So all operations that we can perform on any other database can be performed on SQLite database. SQLite supports all the relational database features. You can define primary key, you can define data type, you can define table and you can use SQL query language to write queries. In order to access this database, you don't need to establish any kind of connection for it. Like to access a database from Java, generally JDBC is used, Java database connectivity, and for other database we use ODBC. So this kind of connection is not required to establish with SQLite database to use that database. Now let us take example of relational database. Relational database stores data in form of relation. Now what is relation? For example, I want to store user information or student information, then I can define table something like this. So it includes three information. First is ID, another is name and third one is program in which student is enrolled. So ID, name and programs are called columns or fields, and every student information is stored as a row, tuple or single record. So single record refers to one student data. Second row refers to second student data and so on. So these are called rows, tuples or record, and entire table is called relation or table, and we can give name to this table and we can store, retrieve, update and delete all these information using query. So I hope you understand how relational database stored information. In order to use SQLite database, we have two classes. The first is database helper class. For managing all the operations related to database, an helper class has been given and it is called SQLite Open Helper. So this class can be used to create or update database. It automatically manages the creation and update of the database. Generally, it provides two methods. The first method is onCreate method. Inside database helper class, you define two methods. First is called onCreate and it takes argument as a SQLite database, and it is called only once when database is created for the first time. So, onCreate is responsible for creating database that you have specified. Another method is onUpgrade, and it takes 3 arguments. First is database itself, another is old version name, and third argument refers to new version name. So, it is called when database needs to be upgraded. So, these two methods we define inside database helper class. So, you need to define one class which extend SQLite Open Helper, and inside that we define these two methods which actually used to create and upgrade database. Another very important class is SQLite database class. So, it contains method to be performed on SQLite database such as create, update, delete, select, etc. So, all kind of basic operation we can perform using these class. You can see various method with its description on screen provided by SQLite database class. So, the very first method is execute SQL, and it takes one argument which is of type string, and it specifies query to be executed. Now, we have seen one table, student table, right? So, in order to create this table, we have create table statement or create table query in SQL. So, we have to write down create table query, and we can execute this command or query using execute SQL method of SQLite database class. Another method is insert, which is used to insert record on the database table. Now, suppose I want to add one student data which consists of 3 information: ID, name and program. So, for that I have to provide table name, then suppose I want to provide value to all columns, then second argument should be null, and the last argument, third argument, content value. Inside content value we store field name with its corresponding value. For example, ID and its value, name is the field, and the name of student is the value. So, this is how we can perform insert operation using SQLite database class. Another type of method is called update, which takes string table name, then values to be updated inside content values, and there is a where clause. And for example, if I want to update all records, then there is no need for where clause. You can specify null. But suppose I want to update value of only third ID or third student, then inside where clause we have to specify condition based on which update operation can be performed, and what value you want to specify in where clause is actually given inside where arguments, right. So, update is used to update row in a table, and then there is a delete method which is used to perform delete operation. So, again it takes table name, where clause, which row you want to delete, that condition is specified in where clause, and value of where clause is specified in where argument. So, it is a convenience method for deleting rows in a database table. And finally, when you want to retrieve all the data from SQLite database, at that time you can use query. Now, if you see the written type of query method, it is a cursor. Cursor is nothing but it refers to record set or multiple records written by this query. So, inside query we specify table name, columns that we want to retrieve. If you want to retrieve all the columns, then second argument is null. Then there is a any filter we want to apply, that we can apply using selection, and inside selection argument we have to provide value for filter. Then there is a group by clause which can be used to group rows. For example, we can group by program in example table, or if we want to group and filter, then we should provide having clause, and last argument is order by. Suppose you want to get data in ascending or descending order of particular field, then we must specify that field name in order by. If you want to retrieve all the data and all the columns, the first argument table is compulsory, rest of the argument may be null. So, basically it returns cursor over the result set. Every data stored in SQLite database has a data type. So, these are the data type that you can specify for every column or field. So, first is text, which refers to string data. Then we have numeric, integer, real and blob or binary large object data. So, these data type you can use to store data in SQLite data types, right. So, let us take one practical example. Suppose we have 3 columns, ID, name and program, and on right hand side you can see 3 values, ID, name and program. So, this is actual table. The second is actual table which specifies value, but internally it is stored something like this: column, type and constraint. So, first column is ID and its type is integer and it is a primary key. Now, there should be at least one column in a table which uniquely identifies rows. For example, student roll number can be considered as a primary key. Employee code can be considered as a primary key. So, primary key is a column name which uniquely identifies row. So, ID is our primary key. Then there are 2 fields, username and user program. So, both are of type string. So, we write down text as a type and constraint. Constraint means what kind of data we want to accept from user, right. So, here we write down not null. What does it mean? It means it is compulsory to provide username and user program, without which data cannot be inserted into table. If you follow mouse pointer, this table is a actual table we want to create in a database, and 1, 2, 3 and these names and programs refers to actual value, but in SQLite database we have to specify column, type and constraint. Now, how to specify these in SQLite database? So, for that we write down query something like this. First we write down create, then table is keyword and then comes table name. So, students is the name of this table, right, and there are 3 columns that you can see here: ID, name and program. So, here I write down ID and its type is integer, that you can verify from here. Then constraint, which is primary key and auto increment. That means you need not to specify ID. SQLite will automatically increment its value starting from 1, and username is text and it is compulsory, means not null, and user program is also compulsory and is of type text and it is not null. Every statement or query is end with semicolon. So, we write down semicolon at the end. So, we can execute this query using these execute SQL method, right. So, first you have to think of data that you want to store in SQLite database, then you create this logical schema, and based on logical schema you specify its physical schema, and for that you have to write down these SQL statement. Now, let us understand how actually database and table is created, right. The first we declare SQLite database type object, which is SQLite database, and here I write down SQLite database is equal to open or create database. The first argument is the database name and second argument is mode, which specifies that this database is private to the app, and last argument specifies factory cursor. We generally specify third argument as a null. This statement will create database called student DB if it is not exist, otherwise if it is exist then it will open that database. We have created database using these two lines, right. Next we want to create table. So, we have already discussed the syntax of create table. So, this is a string which specifies how to create table, and then we call execute SQL method of this database. So, it will create table student inside student DB database. So, this is how this statement works, and we can create database as well as table inside that database. Suppose I want to completely remove my table, then syntax is drop table, table name. So, here again you have to create or open that database, and then you can write down query like this, drop table and then name of table which is students. So, again we use a execute SQL and inside that we specify query which is drop table students. So, this is how you can remove completely physically remove table. How to insert data into table? So, if we go to physical table, so here you can see I want to insert 1 Himanshu and MCA inside student table. So, how to do that? Remember the name of this table is students, name of database is student DB, and I want to insert these value 1 Himanshu and MCA inside my table. So, here as usual you have to open or create database. Now, remember these names should be same every time you want to open or create database, otherwise it will if name differs it either creates new database or it may throw error. So, first you have to define content values. So, here I write down content value CV is equal to new content values, and using put method I want to put that value inside content value. So, CV dot put and then first is the name of field. So, remember inside create we provide this name uname, and this refers to actual value of username, and uprog refers to MCA. Now, you might surprise why I have not specified ID. The reason is that we have specified auto increment for ID. That is why there is no need to specify ID. SQLite database will take care of it and automatically increment value of ID each time you insert data into table, and then you have to call insert query on database. So, here I write down SQLite database dot insert. The first is called name of table, the second is null, and then you have to specify actual content values. Now these insert query is similar to SQL query like this: insert into table name, these are the columns, values, and then you have to provide values in order. So the last line is equivalent SQL statement for inserting data into table. So this is how we can insert data into table. Suppose I want to update username and its program, then what I have to do is, again I have to open or create database. Now here I have to specify ID for which I want to make an update. So in where clause we write down ID is equal to. Now which ID I want to update is specified as an array of string. So here only one argument is there, 1. For example, if you write down ID is equal to question mark and name is equal to question mark, then it will take two arguments. The first is ID and second is name. So accordingly you have to provide where's argument. So normally we specify where clause as a primary key. So here I write down ID is equal to, so that only one row at a time update, and the argument is 1. It means at the place of question mark it is replaced by 1. So now it is ID is equal to 1 when executed. Now next we specify content value and we provide new value to field. So inside username, now I want to replace value with full name, and I want to also update program from MCA to MSCIT. So in second we specify username. Now we can perform update. So first argument is table name, second is the updated content values, then where clause means ID is equal to question mark, and where argument which actually gives 1. So it is equivalent to SQL statement shown at the end: update students set username is equal to new value, user program is equal to new value, where ID is equal to 1. So internally it is executed these SQL statement for update. The third operation we can perform is delete. So again we open or create database, we specify where clause, particular ID we want to delete, and in where argument we specify value of ID. So it is 1. It means I want to delete record with ID is equal to 1, and then I call delete method of database, and first argument is table name. So from this table name ID is equal to 1 will be deleted. So equivalent SQL statement you can see on the screen: delete from table name where field name is equal to some value. So delete from students where ID is equal to 1. So this is how we can perform delete operation. The next is to retrieve data from table. So for that we can write down query statement. So here I open or create that database, and then we write down query method, and first argument is table name, the rest all arguments are null. It means I don't want to filter data, I want to retrieve all the records, I want to retrieve all the columns, there is no selection criteria, there is no group by, there is no having clause, there is no order by, right? So that data is stored inside this object cursor, and you can see here it is of type cursor. Inside cursor we have many methods to traverse data one by one, right? So here I write down while loop, and inside that I write down cursor dot move to next. It means if I can move to next, then I have to continue this loop. So first it retrieves first record, then it retrieves second record, and if there are only 3 records, so after reaching third record, the cursor dot move to next is not possible. So it returns false, and this loop terminates and cursor is closed. Now inside cursor move to next, I write down id is equal to string dot value of cursor dot get integer 0. It means I want to retrieve first column with index 0. Here second is username, so I write down cursor dot get string and index is 1. The third column or field is user program, so I write down cursor dot get string and then I write down 2, means column number 2. So 0 is first column, 1 is second column and 2 is third column. And inside string value I write down records is equal to records plus id colon username colon user program, and whatever value we have fetched. So initially it fetch one record, then again this loop execute. Now it fetch second row data, it is appended in records, and then it fetch third record or row and appended inside records, and after that this loop finishes, cursor closed, and then we display that value inside toast. So this is how we can select data from table. Now here why we use get integer? Because the id is of type integer, so we write down get integer. Here I write down get string because it is of text type. So depending on data type you have to write down appropriate get method, whether you want to get integer or whether you want to get string, but it should match with actual data type, right, stored inside database. So this is how we can select data from table. We have understand how to create or open database, how to perform various operations like insert, update, delete and retrieve data from database. The next is shared preference. Shared preference gives you the way to save and retrieve data in the form of key and value pair, font name and name of font, font size and size of font, background color and actual color, text color and actual color. So this is a key value pair. Key means the name of value and actual value. In order to use shared preference, one need to call method get shared preferences. It returns a shared preferences instance that points to the file containing the value of preferences, and once you retrieve these values you can perform appropriate operations. So here is the example. So here I write down shared preference object sp and I write down is equal to and get shared preferences. So here you can see my preferences is the name of file which actually stored our preference like table name, and this is a mode. So here I write down mode private, means preference is available only inside app, but there are other modes also that you can see on the screen. So there is a mode append which appends the new preference with the already existing preferences, mode enable write ahead logging, mode multiprocess, mode private, mode world readable and mode world writable. So every mode has a different meaning that you can see on the screen, and depending on your requirement you have to use your mode. Now how to put actual data inside these shared preference? So for that we have to use editor class. So one can save anything shared preference by using shared preference dot editor class. So here are some methods that you can use with editor class. So these abstract method will commit your changes back from editor to the shared preference object you are calling. Then there is a clear, which clears or remove all values from the editor. If you want to remove particular value, then you can say remove and key. So these method will be removing the value whose key has been passed as a parameter. For example, background, which specifies background color. Then you can put either long, integer or float value, or we have other methods also to put other kind of data inside shared preference. So always you have to specify key and its value. The value may be long, integer, float or string also. So using editor, you can store actual value with key name and value inside shared preference. So friends, let us sum up. In this module, we have learned about persistent data options provided by Android. We have understand different storage options. We have learned how to use SQLite database, how to create database and table, how to insert, update and delete data using SQLite database, and we have discussed two important class, SQLite Open Helper and SQLite database class, and at the end we have discussed about use shared preferences. I hope you enjoy this session. In next module, we will understand all these concepts with practical demonstration. Until then, thank you and happy learning.